Welcome to HEYA. My intro will be in Arabic, but the show will be in English this time. مساء الخير لكل مشاهدي واتساب ميديا نتورك. بيسعدني دايما انه اكون معكم، وبيسعدني دايما انه اسلط الضوء على نجاحات المرأة العربية الامريكية بكل المجالات. ضيفتي اليوم هي ميلاني الترك. ميلاني الترك هي مصممة ازياء وصاحبة مؤسسة ماركت هوت حجاب. خلينا اليوم نتعرف عليها اكثر. هي تركت وظيفتها كمحامية وكرست كل وقتها لتكون أو لتبلش بهيدي المؤسسة هوت حجاب. فخليكن معنا، ودايما بيسعدنا أنه نرحب بأسئلتكم وتعليقاتكم عبر واتساب ميديا نتورك فيسبوك لايف. Welcome to HEYA again. My guest is the CEO and co-founder of Haute Hijab. Melanie grew up in Detroit to immigrant parents. Her father is Lebanese and her mom is from Philippines. She started her legal career as an attorney at the age of 23. Then later on, her and her husband quit their jobs and focused on Haute Hijab and turned it into one of the leading brands for modern Muslim women. Welcome, Melanie Elturk. Hello.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. مساء الخير.
مساء الخير. مساء الخير. You're half Lebanese and half Filipino.
That's right. صح صح.
So you understand a little bit of Arabic, correct?
I do. Alhamdulillah. بحكي بس شوية متكسر, so English is perfect for me.
That's why we're doing it in English tonight. It's great to have you on HEYA show. And, I follow you on Instagram, and your Instagram page is fantastic. You're not only the heart and soul of your company, but you are the face of Haute Hijab. How do you feel about modeling your own clothing line?
At first I was really nervous and apprehensive about it. I stayed away from the camera for many years. And then actually it was when Instagram happened in 2012 when we got on that platform. And for the first time, I put myself in front of the camera, and the reception that I received from our following at the time was so warm and so welcome. And they were just, of course, they want to connect with a human, not just a brand, that they have no idea who they are or what they're like or why they care or why they're doing this. So I have since grown to be less reluctant, and I've really embraced it, actually. I love being able to communicate with our community directly every single day. And, I wouldn't be able to do that if I didn't put myself out there as the face of the brand. So I'm really grateful that I have that opportunity.
I think you're doing a fabulous job in modeling your own line, that's for sure. I want to ask you about the transition from being an attorney and not a civil rights attorney to be an entrepreneur. Was it a scary switch for you to do this? I mean, from a stable professional job to a riskier one?
It was terrifying. It was probably the hardest decision I've ever had to make. Not only because of the stability, but also because I love the law. It was my first passion in life, was social justice. And because of that, I went to law school. And being able to have this platform as an attorney and have certain privileges that others don't enable me to speak to, the public in a way that a lot of people can't, and to advocate on their behalf as an attorney is a power that is really important. So making the decision to quit my job and focus on the company full time was a very hard one, that it took me so long to come to the decision, but I hope that we made the right choice.
I'm sure it was a very hard decision, but I'm sure you were very determined to do it, and you knew what you were doing at that time. So the transition wasn't easy, as you said. Tell me, you launched Haute Hijab in 2010. Tell me about the process, how you started.
Sure. So my husband and I started the company together, actually. So I'm born and raised in Detroit and Michigan, in Metro Detroit. And I was working at CARE at the time as a staff attorney, the Council on American Islamic Relations. And I got married. My husband's from Chicago. So I moved to Chicago in 2009. And then just months later, in 2010, we started the brand. And it came out of two things. Number one, knowing very practically that it was very difficult to find beautiful, high quality hijabs. Of course, we're very lucky in Michigan to have Dearborn, but outside of that microcosm, it's very difficult to find and source hijabs. You either have to go to, fast fashion, H&M, Forever 21 and use a neck scarf, which isn't a great experience. Or if you're an immigrant children like I was, you have to go overseas to where your parents are from, which also, not a great experience. So that was the one thing. And the second thing was knowing that in our community, we really needed role models that young women who aspired to wear hijab could look up to and see these women as successful because they wear their hijab and not despite the fact that they wear their hijab. And that was the other thing. So we always had this platform from the very beginning of building a community around elevating women who wear hijab while also providing them with this very important, beautiful, high quality product.
Did you ever feel or fear that to build a company that caters to a Muslim woman than just catering to a wider audience?
No,
it was a concern.
It was very intentional from day one that we were going to make it known that this brand and this company was for Muslim women by a Muslim woman. And I felt it very important because we needed our own brand and we needed our own voice to be elevated. And while I thought, maybe this will pigeonhole me and maybe it'll keep me back from more success, but I didn't care because I wasn't doing it for the money. I already had a job as an attorney. This was really about a passion project for me to help and elevate our Muslim sisters. So it didn't matter to me, and it's exactly what I set out to do.
So in the endless era of endless information online, is it still good to be true that entrepreneurship is still, best learned and practiced through application?
100%. I don't think there's any course, school that I could have went to where I would have learned the skills that I needed in order to build this brand. You learn on the job. I'm a first-time CEO, but as long as you have that passion and zest for what you're doing, you'll figure it out at every single impasse. And there have been many, many, many of them for us. And alhamdulillah, we've been able to just find mentors, advisors, those that I can look up to and ask for help. And that combined with my own curiosity and my own zest for knowledge and learning and wanting to do what's best, learning on the job. And I'm still learning, and I will always be learning.
Sure. What are some of the challenges that you've had, through your journey as an entrepreneur, as owning your own company?
Oh my goodness, so many. I think early on when we had decided that we were going to quit our jobs, my husband and I, and we were going to focus on this full time, then it became, all right, we can't rely on our other jobs anymore. This needs to be enough to provide for us financially, but we also need to build a team. And so how are we going to financially do that? And so going out there and finding investors to raise a round of capital in order to fund and then grow the business was probably the first huge challenge where I really found myself having to dig deep and step outside of my comfort zone. I'd never even considered the VC route or, venture capital funding.
You have to do it yourself, right?
Absolutely. My husband and I, as soon as we got to New York City, we started pounding the pavement and getting a meeting anywhere we could with anybody who knew a VC, who was an angel investor, anyone. And it took us about 8 months before we finally got our first yes from a VC.
That's nice. So you built a global brand for Muslim women. What do you say to women who are watching us tonight and they want to have their own successful business?
I would say really, really hone in on what you're passionate about. Because the only difference between a successful entrepreneur and an entrepreneur that is not successful is the successful one never gives up.
Yeah.
In order to have that resiliency of saying, I'm never going to give up, you have to have a passion for what you're doing. You have to live, breathe, and eat it, sleep and dream it. It has to be your whole life. It has to be all consuming. And unless you have that passion, I can't tell you how many times I've hit a wall. I mean, in the past 3 months, we've all been going through such incredibly difficult times.
Absolutely.
I said, is this worth it? Should I keep going? Should I even continue building? But the thing that keeps me going time and time again is the passion for what I do and for what we're building. And that's what keeps me going. So if it's about money, if it's about glory, if it's about fame or name recognition, none of those things will sustain you. You have to really want it from your heart.
So what you're saying is, number one, you have to have the passion for what you do. That's for sure. You know, the hijab today in fashion is a little bit different than 2010 when you first started, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Do you feel like you anticipated the growth?
No. My husband did. My husband is he's a dreamer. My husband's a visionary, and I'm much more pragmatic. As an attorney, I'm very risk averse. I'm very down to earth, and I did not anticipate having a huge team or a beautiful office in Manhattan or the incredible customers we have all around the globe or the amount of hijabs we sell every month. I could never have dreamt this even if I tried.
Wow. I mean, I guess, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So did you apply some of what you have learned as an attorney at Haute Hijab?
Oh, absolutely. I think the way in which attorneys are taught to think critically and to make snap decisions based on the facts at hand in the most pragmatic way possible, taking out emotion and just thinking about the facts in front of you to make the right decision has helped me as a CEO tremendously. You know, I have to make 100 little micro decisions every single day, and then so many big, huge decisions. And having that analytical framework that I learned and was so ingrained in me as an attorney, both in school and as I practiced, has helped me tremendously. That, and of course, the practical things of being able to write and draft all of our contracts and look over, you know, different agreements and things like this has been really efficient and has helped us save a lot of money.
Sure.
So, yeah.
You know, I know one of your missions is to empower women how to wear the hijab in a confident way. Tell me about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe that every single woman should look and feel so beautiful in hijab. That you don't need to wear hijab and feel frumpy or feel unattractive. You should feel so beautiful. You should feel so confident and so happy to get up every single morning and choose the hijab that you're going to wear that day. And it should be a source of joy and pride for you. And that's really our whole mission. And in order to do that, we do a lot of education around, well, what is best for you? How are you going to feel your best in hijab? And that has to do a lot with your personal taste, things like your face shape, whether or not you look great in a square or a rectangle. Should you wear an underscarf? If you do, should it show? A lot of these things you have to just kind of try in order to get into your groove and feel and look great. And so we do a lot of education around those things, even down to things like skin color. That can affect the different colors you wear that make you just your skin beautiful and glowing in order to, again, make you feel a lot more comfortable.
So you just knew this through experience? I mean, through the time, or did you study any of that at all?
No, I had no training in this. It came from experience. I've been a huge fashion fanatic since I knew what clothes were. I've always been very particular about what I wear. I think Lebanese are very, very, very much like that. It's in our blood. You know, my grandfather in Lebanon, he had a store where he would bring clothes from Italy, and my grandmother taught me how to sew, and so it's in our blood. And I just picked it up. And then when I was trying to verbalize, because we would get so many questions, like, will this look good on me? What color should I wear? Well, should I wear a square or a rectangle? I'd have to sit and think, okay, well, let me think through what the steps are, write it all out, and then start creating my own educational process, because it wasn't something that existed before our brand.
When you try it on yourself, correct? I mean, you put your own makeup and then you see if it looks good with the hijab and all that, correct?
Exactly. Yeah, it's all by experimentation on yourself.
Sure. So what do you say to girls who are struggling today wearing the hijab? What do you say to them today?
Great question.
They want to take it off, basically.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And here's what I'll say. You have to find in yourself, in your heart, the reason that you're wearing hijab. You have to come back to that over and over again. And if that reason is anything other than out of devotion to your faith, because you want to please your creator, you want to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and through your devotion to him, then it'll be very easy for you to take it off when things get tough. And things will get tough. And so when things get hard and you are in this place where you're feeling as though hijab is just too difficult for me, you have to have a place of strength inside that you can reach into to give you that strength to keep going. And other days are going to be easy and you're going to love it. And, you know, people will treat you with respect and you'll get deference from others. And those days will be great. But other days can be difficult. And so when it does get difficult, you have to make sure that at all times you know and understand and you keep reminding yourself why you put it on in the first place.
So it is normal to have these thoughts sometimes, you know, your ups and downs. I think everybody's like that, even without the hijab.
Of course, of course.
We have a question. Go ahead. We have a question for you from Mahdi Haider. He said, what's easier, law or entrepreneurship?
You know, it really depends on your skill set and it depends on what you're passionate about. If you know, I was passionate about both things. So both of them came natural and easy to me. I think if I was to go into medicine or something, it would be very difficult for me because that's not what I'm passionate about. It's not my skill set. So I think it really depends on you and what you're very, very interested in, what keeps you up at night and what do you want to do? I think we all, you know, from the outside looking in, it's easy to look at different professions and say, well, oh, it's only a 3-year degree, or, you know, the classes that I have to take are pretty easy, so I'll just do this. Yeah. And I think that that's such a short-term, short vision way to look at the rest of your life. You really have to think through, who do I want to be? What change do I want to make in this world? And then how can I do that?
I agree.
Work backwards from there to figure out what profession will allow you to do those things and then figure that out.
Sure. And one more question from Samia Zubaidi. She says, what inspired your designs?
Beauty, all things beauty. You know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I am beautiful and I love beauty. And I am just so inspired by beautiful things. And I'm inspired by different cultures. I'm inspired by all the different ways in which women around the globe wear hijab, whether it's in the Middle East where my dad is from, or it's in Africa or in Indonesia or in Pakistan or in Bangladesh. I'm so inspired by all the different ways in which women wear hijab. And I take inspiration from people, and people are beautiful, and you know, it comes from there. But then from a very practical sense, it's also, what do we need? Do we, you know, I as a hijab wearing woman want to have everything I need in my hijab wardrobe, from when I go outside for a run, when I'm going to work, my wedding day, a formal event, when I'm, you know, if I'm a doctor, what type of hijab do I wear then? So from a very practical perspective, it's making sure that we're designing hijabs that fulfill your needs as a woman to wear hijab and all these different touch points in your life.
Sure, sure. I have a question for you. During the pandemic, okay, just give me a second. There's a question for you. How are you demonstrating leadership to your team during the crisis, and how do you instill confidence in them?
It's a great question. To the latter part of that, I instill confidence in my team by allowing them to make their own decisions. I think it's really easy for leadership to micromanage or to want to hold on to different things in order to make those decisions, and you can't effectively create a team with confidence or the ability to grow and to move up in their careers if they're always looking to leadership for the decisions at the end of the day. And so I really empower my team to make the decisions on their own, to think critically about why this matters, coming to the right conclusion, and ultimately to be afraid to make mistakes. Because if they feel as though they can't make mistakes, they won't make the decision either, because they don't want to be wrong. Absolutely. But to let them know that they can make mistakes and they have to take risks sometime is really important in order to build confidence.
So how did you manage during this pandemic?
You know, it was very tough. It was incredibly difficult. We were running up against a fundraising round that, the March 17th, when the whole world changed, that was the weekend where we, were in California from New York trying to close our funding round, and things unfortunately did not pan out the way we thought they would. So with that, unfortunately, we had to furlough some folks. We had to bring the team down. We also had to make some really tough decisions around spending and salaries.
Yes.
But throughout that, what's important when these changes are happening is to remain very, very close to your team. Communicate, over-communicate to understand how they're feeling, to help them through it, to give them what they need in order to make them whole. So, whether that's giving them time off if they are taking a salary cut, or making up for that salary cut in equity, making sure that they are still feeling motivated, but also not feeling like as though they're being taken advantage of during this situation. So, people are understanding, there's no doubt, but you still have to do right by them, even during a crisis, to make sure that everyone feels motivated to come to work, and reminding them of your mission.
Yes.
Why we're all doing this, why this is important, why it's worth waking up every morning in your house and working from home to still do this work. So that's been a big part of it as well.
And we are all in this together, that's for sure.
Right.
I have to mention, during the pandemic, your company, Haute Hijab, donated over 500 scarves for Muslim healthcare workers. What intrigued you to do that?
We're so connected to our community, and our community reaches out to us all the time when they are in times of need and with ways in which we can help out. And we're also always looking for ways in which we can help our community as well. And so when the pandemic hit, and knowing the disproportionate amount of Muslims in the healthcare field, we knew that they were going to be hit really, really hard. So I think the statistic is something like 10% of all doctors in America are Muslim, yet we only make up 1% of the population.
Yeah.
And what to say of nurses and PAs and, all the other healthcare workers out there who are wearing hijab and are struggling. And it was just one less thing that they had to worry about. It was such a difficult time for everybody. If we could provide just a small, it's just a hijab, it's nothing big, but it's just a small amount of.
So you knew that the need was there. For those scarves. It's a marvelous idea. For you to be able to do that and help these health workers, that's for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. And we salute you for that.
Thank you. Well, we can't take all the credit. We donated 250,
okay.
And they were spoken for in 45 minutes. They were gone. And so our community suggested that we opened up the donation to our community, and our community is the one who then kept donating on top of that. And we actually donated over 1,000 by all in all.
Okay, that's great. I want to take a break. I'm sure we have some more questions for you, but when we come back, we're going to talk about the latest trends from Haute Hijab, and also hijab tips for Muslim women on the go. So stick around.
The One. We are business consultants who equip leaders to lead at their highest level while building teams that work together and support their team and the leadership. We deliver customized business solutions that fit your company's needs, including business development and customized process solutions. Contact us today. Thank you.
Welcome back. I'm still here with Melanie Elturk, the CEO and co-founder of Haute Hijab. Welcome back, Melanie.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Good. Well, let's talk about Haute Hijab and your design and all that. Tell me, do you design like sportswear and everything else? Tell us.
Yes, actually our athletics line is going to be launching August 18th. We're very excited. Right before getting on, I was actually pulling some looks for the styling of our photo shoot happening next week. So we're going to have 4 separate styles in 3 different colors. It's going to be the largest breadth of a collection we've ever had in terms of, well, we've never even had athletics before. So this is really exciting.
Nice. That's a good step. That's a big step.
Yeah, and that's happening in August. And what's great about our athletics hijab is it's actually made of coffee grinds. And coffee grinds, as you know, it repels odor, so it helps with any type of odors. But at the same time, it lowers your temperature. So it's proven to lower your temperature by about 2 degrees Celsius. So when you're working out, you don't get overheated, and it's very lightweight. It's an incredible tech fabric that we're going to utilize in that hijab.
How do you test that? How do you pick is it like it's a fabric, correct?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Okay. How do you pick that? How did you come up with this?
Well, our first foray into the tech fabric space was with our underscarves. So our underscarves are actually antimicrobial. They have built-in SPF. They're temperature regulating so that if you are cold, it will heat up. And if you're hot, then it cools you down. And this tech fabric was something that, it's still a new space. But for a woman who wears this fabric on their head, it's very necessary to make sure that, you're as comfortable as possible in hijab. And something that we've noticed and women have told us is that they really suffer from hair loss. It's a big problem, especially with those polyester tube bands that women wear under the underneath the hijab. We made sure that ours was made of a breathable fabric, and we've heard so many incredible responses from women saying that their hair growth is coming back, they don't have ear pain or tension headaches. So, not only do we design beautiful products, we make sure that what we're doing is innovative, because this is a space that hasn't been innovated on in decades and decades. People aren't paying enough attention as they should to this garment that we're putting on our head every single day. So with our athletics, we did the same thing in looking into and researching the best tech fabric to function as an athletic textile to help you with everything that you would need when you're working out. And that was really around temperature and not wanting to feel it. So wanting it to be
so important to do that. It is so important to do that for sure. Yeah. I'd like to talk about the luxury line that you did in 2018. It was like a big hit. Tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, that was our first collection as a post-2016 brand when Ahmed and I had quit our job. And it was our first huge collection that the mainstream media really picked up. So we were featured in Vogue and in Style and Elle, and it was amazing to see the mainstream fashion community really recognize what we were doing, but also for our community to have a luxury hijab produced en masse for the first time. Because typically, in order to have this level of sophistication in your hijab or design, you'd need to go to a tailor and have something custom made for you. So it was a really groundbreaking moment for us and our community to be able to provide this product. And yeah, we're very proud of that collection, that's for sure.
I'm sure it was a big hit for Haute Hijab, that's for sure.
It was, yeah.
Yes, women are on the go nowadays. And as it is, like if I want to leave the house, it takes me forever to leave the house in the morning. So I can imagine for a hijabi, to be able to pick the scarf and match it with the outfit. I want you today to give the hijabi some tips.
Sure, I would love to. So actually, one hero product that we came out with this year that has been probably our best-selling product of 2020 are our magnets. So they're called our no-snag hijab magnets.
Okay.
And these really are, we have them in gunmetal and silver and also in gold. And so this is such a groundbreaking product because it's not new. We've seen magnets in the hijab space before. However, these magnets are the strongest magnets that you're going to find for a hijab. They're incredibly strong, and they really do replace a pin.
So you don't have to worry about them at all. You don't have to worry about them like falling or anything.
Not at all. I mean, not at all. It does not budge once you have it on. And the impetus for these was, you know, we have these really beautiful silk scarves. This is part of our heritage collection. And, you know, they're pretty pricey. They're beautiful designed silk scarves from the same manufacturers where you would find a Chanel or an Hermes scarf. And our customer said, you know, these are really beautiful, but I don't want to spend that kind of money just to poke a hole in it with a pin. Okay. And I said, you're absolutely right. So how can we help solve that problem? And that's when we came up with the magnets. And this really is a solution where it replaces a pin, so you don't have to poke holes into your hijab, you don't have to snag your hijabs with pins, and it's also just safer because pins are, you know, especially if you have children around, they're just not a great accessory to be worn.
And it's safer, that's for sure.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So that's something that I would, you know, like on the, like you said, on the go, you just take your magnet, put under your pin, under your chin, in the back, wherever you would normally use a pin, and it is very easy and safe. And you know, put it on.
Do you do like more than one, or you only need like these two to hold it?
I use more than one, so I put one underneath my chin, and then I also put one in the back to secure my hijab in the back, so it just doesn't slip.
So it's better to have two, obviously, to keep the hijab like in place.
Exactly, exactly. And then the other thing we introduced is our shaping scrunchie. So, you know, a lot of times you can see here the shape that I have in the back of my hijab. You want to make sure that that shape is, you know, that you have like a nice shape to your hijab. And the way in which we do that is through a velvet scrunchie. So we created them in a small size. This is our regular small, and then in a larger size, depending on how much hair you have. So usually women who have long, thick hair will opt for the small size. And if you have shorter or more fine hair, you'd get our larger size one to create that, you know, just so that you don't have, it's hard to describe.
Like you have to have it flat, right?
Exactly.
So you have that look in the back.
Exactly.
I didn't like that, and I always wondered, like, what do you put in there?
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many things people use. We kept it really, really chic and simple with this shaping scrunchie. So this is something that also is kind of a game changer for your hijab game as well.
Sure, sure. I think it looks very pretty. That's for sure. Let's talk about colors a little bit.
Yes.
How do you match? I mean, what's the trend right now?
You know, the trend, as it's been for the past couple of years, are neutrals, and neutrals in the warm space. So this is our light mink jersey, and this is actually our best-selling hijab of all time. Number one, jersey is just, you know, you said put it on and go, like women on the go. You don't need pins. You don't need an underscarf. Our jersey is so lightweight, and it's so simple to just put on, and you don't even need a pin underneath your chin. You can just, you know, get your jersey on.
Is it more like a casual look?
Yeah, certainly casual, but you can have also seen jersey dressed up as well. It really just depends on the vibe and the look that you're going for. And so in speaking about colors, you know, this is called our light mink. This color looks beautiful.
It goes with everything, I feel. This color goes with everything, yeah. But do you have to put something underneath it, like the piece underneath it, or not necessarily?
No, because this fabric does not slip. So you don't need an underscarf or an umtla underneath. You can just throw it on. You don't even need pins. I didn't put a magnet on. What I suggest you do is to take the two sides, and I would actually, you know, knot it in the back, and then it's safe and secure, and it's not going to move, and you don't have to worry about it.
Okay, my question is, if you put a scarf with a lot of colors, okay, and you're wearing already colored clothes, I mean, how do you match but still feel classy and, you know, look nice and all that?
Absolutely. I think it's up to, first of all, you have to decide what type of fashion or how you want to express yourself. Some women like to wear prints in their outfit and another print on top. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's, you know, if it's a cohesive look, I think that's beautiful. But yeah, absolutely. But I think if you're looking for something more subdued and you're wearing something bright, or you have a printed top on, I would take one of the colors within the print to complement the hijab or the top that you have on in your hijab to make it one beautiful cohesive look. Or what you could do is stick with a neutral color like our light mink, like an ivory, like some sort of sand or beige color, or a medium brown tan that looks good on everything, and you won't have to worry about it.
What about fashion shows? Anything for the future?
You know, we've never done a fashion show before. I attend a lot of fashion shows during New York Fashion Week, but it's not something we've done. I'm not opposed to it. It would have to be the right circumstances. It would have to be right. But I do love a good fashion show, that's for sure.
So what do we expect from Haute Hijab in the future, in the near future?
Yeah,
what are you working on?
So near future, certainly that athletic hijab. It's the biggest campaign we have this year. It's the biggest product launch we have this year. Like I said, that'll be August 18th. We're also going to be bringing out new colors of our magnets. So that's going to be exciting. We're also going to bring in new colors of the scrunchies. We have actually a Tuesday collection. We have a weekly drop of our printed hijab. So you'll see I'm wearing a chiffon print. Every single Tuesday, we drop 6 new prints. And so that is always happening and always exciting. We're also coming out with new jersey colors this year. Finally, we're going to get 12 new colors in, which is huge because our customers almost collect all the colors. And I think it's time. It's time for a new collection of colors.
I think you're doing an amazing job. I love your style. I love your Instagram, as I mentioned before. You really do an amazing job. And I think a lot of women out there look up to you for sure. Your last message to these women today.
Oh, my last message. You know, just if I'm talking to a Muslim woman who wears hijab, I would say, you know, as I said before, really find in yourself the reason that you're wearing hijab and remind yourself of it daily. It's so important. And also never feel as though you can't look beautiful in hijab, because you can and you should. And my hope for all of you is that you wake up every morning and get so much joy out of choosing your hijab. And I hope that it brings you a lot of love and brightness. And it's the hijab you choose that makes you feel so excited about the rest of your outfit.
What a great message. I want to thank you so much for tonight, for being with us, for showing us some trends and all that, and wish you good luck on Haute Hijab. Thank you so much, and we'll interview you more soon.
Thank you. You can shop our website at hautehijab.com anytime. Thank you, Hanan, for having me. This was wonderful.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And to our viewers, thank you so much for watching, and have a good night. تصبحوا على خير.